Hopefully it's quiet enough.
I'm sure it will.
We'll see how it goes. Right, so, sorry it's been a few weeks, guys, but this is this week's battle report, and it's the first one with the new Grymkin. Apologies for any mistakes, but we'll see how it gets on. So, I'm Matt, and I'm playing the Grymkin.
And I'm Dan, and I'm playing Retribution.
So, I'll quickly go through the lists. My list is in the Bump in the Night theme, and it's the Heretic with Skirmishes, 2 of them, Lord Longfellow, 2 sets of Cask Imps, so that's 4 Cask Imps, 2 Witchwoods, 2 max units Dreadrots, 2 max units Hurlmen with Lanterns, and a max unit Piggybacks.
Myself, I'm running the Defenders of Iris theme list under Lord Arcanist Ossyan with a Demon, Banshee and Manticore. Along with that, I've got 3 Arcanists, Houseguard Thane, 2 free heavy rifle teams that come with the theme, a max Rifleman with UA, max Houseguard Halberdiers with UA, and a unit of Stormfall Archers.
Cool, and it's probably worth picking out just before to get all the housekeeping out of the way that I've obviously my trump cards. So I reckoning I have to have because it's the Heretics one. I then chose Ill Omens, which is the -1 to attacking damage rolls, and Shroud, which is friendly models gain stealth while in the Heretics control range. And obviously that was looking at Dan's army going, that's a lot of guns. So
Yep.
Without further ado, let's get into it. So, Dan won the roll?
I won the roll and chose to go second, picking the side on the left.
Yep, that was it. So, that was me setting up first. Because I think you were after that hill, weren't you, really?
Yeah, at first I considered trying to take the trench and that, but you had no real guns to speak of, so I'd rather take the hills and leave you with that bit of ruins.
Yeah. Or the rubble, because there's the rubble sort of, which has just got a unit of Hollowmen sat on it that I'm moving off, and also there's the water at the top, and obviously I don't really deal with terrain very well. My deployment was just balanced because, as I've said before, if you don't know what to do, make it look pretty, so that's the way I went with it. I did a little change of heart when I suddenly realised I had piggybacks and nowhere to put them, so I had a bit of a shuffle in the middle.
Full whack with them in front.
Yeah, which is actually quite a lot of blokes when you work it out.
Yeah, you end up with 50-something.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Myself, I started to go pretty balanced. Between my heavies, I've got the Demon, which is essentially Hellmouth on a jack, and covering fire from the Manticore. So I was just trying to generally space them out to try and cover this many infantrymen. But then I've just then scattering as I can about, because I really don't know how to take on close to 50 infantrymen running straight at me. I sort of realised I had nowhere to then put my Houseguard rifles since the Halberdiers took the flank, so they are just getting squished in amongst everything else. To the bottom I've got the Stormfall Archers and the 2 heavy teams.
Cool, so this is my AD going down, which is Cask Imps, which I think are hilarious more than actually being any use whatsoever, and the Witchwoods, which obviously are there to influence stuff and whack things and be a bit threatening.
Yeah.
So my basic plan was run forward. Certainly the Hollowmen, I've played 3 small games in our little mini tournament we did last week, and that was taking the Hollowmen. So I know that they can take a whack. So the idea of this, what I wanted to do was just get the Hollowmen up, the Dreadrots up as quickly as possible, get in his face, follow him up with the Hollowmen sort of towards the centre, and just generally get up as quickly as I can, because I know I can't. The tough on the Dreadrots will allow me to take some damage. 1 in 3 should get up again, which helps, but it's not necessarily ideal.
Yeah. Also, you forgot your apparition this turn.
I forgot my apparition, which didn't help.
And if you're wondering, under theme, my Halberdiers got advanced move, so they've just advanced up before the game started, under shield wall.
Yeah.
But other than this, it's a hell of a lot of infantry just charging straight at my face.
Yeah. And my big thing, I've played, previous big infantry list was a Protectorate list with Testament, and I kept clocking out on that. So with this one, I was very, very, or being as quick as possible, because yeah, clocking out I think is a thing with lots of guys.
Yeah, at this point I'm wondering what I can physically do. He's got all sorts of different things where you can give stealth to things, minus my attack and damage rolls, so at present I'm just trying to keep out of any threat ranges. I didn't realise at first, but there's no real speed increases, thankfully. So with a lot of repositions, because all my archers and my solos get repositioned through, I just start throwing a couple of shots out just to try and keep things at bay. Mostly to kill these cast imps before they get a bit too close and blow everything up.
So you just didn't want to take the risk, did you?
No.
Which is fair enough, which is in previous games, that's exactly what's happened. It's like, I don't know what they do, so I'm just going to kill them.
Yep.
Just get them out of the way.
As soon as someone turns around and says, oh, by the way, that can power 40 in your load of infantry, you take them a bit more seriously than what they probably look. I got a couple of lucky scatters, didn't scatter too far, and I managed to just take the front lead people out, thinning down the ranks just a little bit. This is me trying to work out, should I reposition, but nothing was really in run range or charge range, so it's just started the game of form the firing line. Just to be sure that the Hollow Man doesn't come in and blast me too much. That's a covering fire just coming down, and everything else moving just 10 inches away from it. So if they really want to come shoot me, they're going to be taking those power 12s.
Yeah, which at armor 12.
Not the best thing.
Yeah, ain't going to happen. Possibly worth pointing out that when I moved, Lord Longfellow ended up in a bunker. Yeah, it's a bit hard to spot on this, but he's the middle guy that's in that sort of bunker thing.
Goes straight up to defense 20 in there, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not touching him in that. That was my Thane. He's just moved up and gave them desperate pace to the Houseguard. Halberdiers can really get some move on them. Speed 6 normally with desperate pace goes up to 8. Just for good measure, I decided to throw Quicken on them. Not only for the speed, but also with the Hollow Men there. It bumps them up to defense 15 and under shield wall armor 18, so that should keep, for the most part, them safe. The UA also gives them reposition 3, so they're just advancing up rather quick to hopefully kill that cast imp, then just keep out of any retaliation strikes from the dead rots. Yeah, and they quite handily just butcher it. As you say,
Back off.
this point, again, just forming up the little gun line, just in case the Hollow Men will come in. That bumps them up to 15, and it just clocks across.
Yeah. So that turn I realised I bunched up far too much. The Stonefall Archers killed a lot more than they should have done.
Oh yeah, they got lucky.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the cast imp at the top self-exploded.
Oh yeah, 6 in.
Yeah, I was after a 5, which was a bit optimistic, but didn't get it. So yeah, never mind. But yeah, these are all my apparition moves, which is obviously fun.
Yeah, 20 guys apparitioning.
Yeah. And then there's strange growth as well going to kick in, probably.
Yeah, we didn't realise first, but the what are the trees called? The
They are called Witchwoods.
Witchwoods have prowl, like all good trees should in a forest. Because I was tempted to start blasting them, but yeah.
Yeah, that's it. And that was a quick roll there. I was trying to
Dragging one of my
guys.
dudes.
Yeah, dragging one of the dudes, maybe get him to hit his mate or something like that, but missed because of Quicken, pretty much.
Yeah.
So yeah, so this is me trying to space out a little bit more. Yeah, and just generally trying to make sure that I can't score any in the zones. That's my other big thing. I was after at the top. I reckon I could possibly score. It was a bit hit and miss, but there was the potential there to score if I could get a line and just stop any of those halberdiers coming in. I thought we'll give it a go. So yeah, I had this awkward choice of whether I start shooting and try and shoot a few of them away with the Hollow Men or just run in. And I reckon that due to time and the fact that the Hollow Men were at 5,
Yeah.
the shooting wasn't going to happen, so just leg it in, which
Yeah.
is what I did with with everything, I think.
Yeah, pretty much everything just charged up. Because I'd pulled out of your 9-inch threat, and I pulled back just enough to run in to hold me as well.
Yeah.
And Skin and Moans.
Skin and Moans to toe the zone at the very top. Yeah, and the bottom one that sort of... Yeah, if you possibly see in a bit. I've got 2 sets of tokens. I've got the Protectorate set and I've got the Circle set. The Circle set I'm using for my Fury. And the Protectorate focus tokens I've been using for
the
corpses. Yeah,
tokens.
Cheers, Dan. So yeah, that's what you're seeing. And then, yeah, that's a burning wall.
Yep. Just to stop any guys running in, I guess.
Yeah, that was it. I'd like to have put it a bit further forward, and in hindsight, I probably should have done that first above to stop you coming to the zone at the top.
Yeah.
Would have probably made things a lot more solid in that situation, but never mind.
Yeah. This was me slightly going into the tank a little bit. There's now still just shy of 40 guys at least now bearing down on me, and I'm just trying to work out what I can actually kill in time. Because everything's starting to be a bit spaced out. I don't like the prospect of just shy of 20 Weapon Masters hitting me. That was me just getting rid of my cover and fire before I forget. I was using the Stormfall Archers first, just because with the range and the variety of shots, they had up to 16 inches with an aim, so I was just working out what I could clip.
Yeah, this was young Longfellow on the flag, which is my other option of scoring a point. He was defense 16, it was like 9s, and it was just like the first shot, hard 9, killed, dead, what's the problem?
This is just one. The Skin and Bones had just come a bit too close and was about to take a brutal shot to the face, but unfortunately I missed and it just glanced off him. Other than that, there was just looking at there was not much really else I could shoot with them. I could maybe pop 1 or 2 of the Dreadrots if Tufts weren't passed. And to give them the due, they managed to hold their own, and in 1 solo and 2 Dreadrots isn't too bad. At this point I realised they'd probably go take some Dreadrots to the face, so they just repositioned slightly back and bunched up.
Yeah, quite like that with the guy at the back, so the other guys couldn't get to him.
Yeah.
So you've got at least 1 shooter there, which was a good shout.
This is the Banshee. It's got momentum on its gun, so it slams non-large base models D3. I got a decent roll and ends up slamming one of the Hollow Men into the Lantern, and at power 14 it just creamed through them.
Yeah, and that was...
Activated one of your...
Yeah, I was going to say, that was me activating Ill Omens, which is -1/-1 to dice, but it's not just in in control, which is pretty cool.
It's the entirety of the battlefield.
Yeah, and I thought with the volume of shots and dice that are getting rolled, hopefully it'll...
Pay off.
Yeah,
that was the Demon walking forward and took a shot at the tree, which had been surrounded by Hollow Men.
It's 5 of them get removed.
Power, because it's Hellmouth on a stick, power 12 to everyone, with that tree there being an easy hit. Just help clear some of the chaff away. It's worth mentioning, because I forgot to mention it the first turn, I'd stuck Shatterstorm on the Houseguard rifles, which I don't really use it that often. I've only really started replaying Ret again recently, but with the amount of infantry on the board, it just seems hopefully something to...
Yeah, and I think the RFP works really well.
Yeah.
Because obviously the Hollow Men, if they kill someone, they can come back. So if you RFP them, they ain't coming back, are they? So.
No. This was me hopefully cunningly stopping Hollow Men. Not Hollow Men. Dreadrots charging in. And I completely forgot, well, why charge when you can just run and tie everything up anyway? Unfortunately. But it seemed like a sound plan.
I think it was a sound plan, otherwise certainly at least the lead 2, maybe 3 Dreadrots would have hit you.
More than likely.
Jack, which hurts. I've played that game before.
Yeah, it hurts a lot. That was just the Thane just moving up. With reposition 3, he was able to just walk up, take a shot and still get onto the flag to start scoring for me. This is where the halberdier, the rifleman started opening fire, and with that, it just started. A few lucky rolls because the armor 12, are they?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
it was the power 6s, weren't it? Or the
power
eights.
8s.
Yeah.
I mean, on the dead rots, that's what they're called. It was a bit more of a risk because needing 7s to kill with them, with the explosions. But at that point I realised between the demon and some other things, I was actually leaving myself with not much I could really shoot with that big forest in the way. But yeah, it's just, they clear a nice little bit out. I think 2 of them weren't in the end able to shoot, unfortunately, but those are the sad times that you get with a gun line.
That's it. Well, but if you look at what was on the table before the start of your turn,
to what is
on the table now, I think
they did a
really good turn of shooting.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pop feet, which wasn't going to happen. There just wasn't enough heavy stuff in there for me to target. But it might have. It wouldn't have even helped with the detonators because it wouldn't have been the shooting attack. So
yeah.
Halberdiers are keeping shield wall. With the speed they are, with reposition 3, there's just, at this point, there's no reason for them not to, unless they needed to charge, say, that Skin and Moans. On the charge, they can go up to power 14, so they can get quite dangerous on the charge. But other than that, they just try and stab a few of them, and with Tough, I think a couple survive, and under your theme, you get Rise, so...
Yeah, I think with this though, I was quite happy at this point because I'd forgotten that the reposition. Because I thought at this point, right, my plans happened, we're fine. We've held them back, and then I'll next wave will go in next round, and that's another point. So I've got I think certainly in the new scenarios, any points you can score in your opponent's turn
points
are massively worth having because you can always clear stuff out on your own turn. It's in your opponent's turn where I think the game will be won and lost. And thanks to repositioning one of the guys at the top, just toe in the zone, which is obviously all you need to do.
Yeah, just...
job's a good one.
Yep. This is where I then realised my caster still hasn't gone, and I think I just sent out an Arcantric Bolt, I decided to shoot the tree.
Yeah.
I dropped the tree down to 1 health with the heavy rifle teams. With the -1 to hit, -1 damage.
That was it, yeah.
It was starting to prove difficult to kill, but with future sights, Ossyan just took a shot and blew it away.
Yeah.
He then, because he had focus to spare, decided to just nail a Dreadrot just for the
Why
sake
not?
of it.
So yeah, at this point I was a little bit kind of sad, shall we say. I've got my solid core in the middle of the Dreadrots, not the Dreadrots, the piggybacks. So I'm thinking, okay, well at least all is not lost, but everything's too far away. So I needed some kind of plan to close the line and to start the scoring because without a solo, I wasn't scoring the bottom flag. The middle one is very unlikely I was going to clear the heavy and get some infantry in to score the middle one, and the top one again. That I couldn't get to the whatever that heavy is on the toe in the zone.
Oh, that's the Manticore.
Manticore, yeah. So I was a bit stuck with that. So I thought, right, okay, the only places to score are going to be on what is the top of your screen in that square, with the
Skin and Moans.
Skin and Moans toe in it, and hopefully the Dreadrot's clearing out that one guy, which I think was the defense 13.
Which the
Halberdier.
Halberdiers are 13, yeah.
Yeah, so it's 7, so it wasn't guaranteed. So I needed, even just playing the odds, I need to get at least 2 guys in there, preferably a third. This was me optimistically moving up the piggybacks. I thought, well, they could go there if I can clear the zone somehow. But
that's the point.
It was never going to happen, and I don't think I even tried to make it happen. The Heretic's gone. He's thrown down the wall of fire behind the Halberdiers because I just wanted to stop him running away, which I don't think they were ever going to do. So again, that was a bit of a waste, but never mind. Yeah. So what I'm trying to do here was to run and trigger Reckoning onto that unit of Halberdiers, but Dan didn't fall for it.
No, there was a guy that ran past to contest. I mean, I could have taken it. I would have scored an extra point because he's contesting, now, but I don't think there would have been a halberdier left in the house.
Yeah, you'd have been lacking numbers. And then it's what you can do from passing it across. So if I pass it onto another unit, then maybe you lose Stonefall Archers as well and things like that. So, but yeah.
How they're surprisingly survivable because you're hitting on 7s with Weapon Master.
Yeah.
So,
but it's only power 10 Weapon Masters, so they sat at armor 18.
Armor 18, so it was 9s.
So it's 9s, which is
just
below
averages
average.
Across,
But it's averages followed by averages, so I guess it's like 1 in 4 of them are going to kill.
Average,
So, and at this point, I'm obviously lacking numbers. So, so the Skin and Moans went in because he could claim a corpse of one of the Dreadrots when he got there. So that puts him up to armor 17, power 17, and then he just munched his way through quite a few because having, 2 basic attacks and reach is just amazing.
Oh yeah.
And so that he sort of gets himself a bit more defensive as well because he's now at armor 19.
Yeah, he's cleared a nice little path for himself. Your mighty plan to get rid of the 2 heavies with 2 hollow men charging.
For some reason didn't work. I can't think why.
No, I think they did a bit more damage than we probably would have expected, but
yeah, the power 11 on the charge.
Power 11 on the charge.
Which is nice, but it's obviously not very good for killing heavies. So yeah, that's the Dreadrots. They just ran up and engaged as much as they could because there wasn't a lot more they could do.
Yeah, which tied up my one of my heavy weapon teams, but also 2 of the Starfall Archers. Yeah, Starfall Archers sounds good.
So this is me just measuring out threat ranges for the Skin and Moans. I don't know why I did that.
I think you were trying to plan it that... I'm not sure whether... Cause you were asking me about my own threat ranges.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether you were...
Well, I was staying out of your threat ranges, but he's just stood there. He can't score on the flag.
No.
He'd have been better off in amongst the Dreadrots.
Even if he took that power 12.
Yeah, well... Yeah, there's just so many better places for him to be. But never mind. And I think my turn passes pretty quick. We score a point. So I think at this point you've scored once, I've scored once.
Yeah, it's 1-all at this point. This point I'm trying to work out... I've done a lot of legwork at this point, clearing a lot of infantry. But then I'm looking, there's the piggybackers staring down 2 of my heavies, and I don't know quite how hard they hit.
It's power 15 on the charge, plus Fury is power 18. And if I can get Reckoning on them, it's power 20, so in theory you don't want to take a charge off them.
No. So I'm starting to think, how can I either thin down the piggybacks or a few other bits and pieces. Unfortunately, what I hadn't realised at this point is, until much later in my turn where Matt decided to advise me when I caught, but there was no transfers available.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, there was transfers.
There was at this point,
Hashtag spoiler.
Hashtag spoiler, yeah.
The Skin and Moans going into the Halberdiers has maxed himself out.
Yeah.
Which I didn't intend to do, but I got carried away because killing stuff.
Yeah. And at this point, I'm trying to work out how to pop feet and kill as much as I physically can, because, I'm looking at the piggybacks, they're under shield wall, and they've got unyielding flesh, is it?
Impervious flesh.
Impervious flesh, so... my feet essentially takes it back to the standard dice, so I wasn't looking forward to that prospect, but that was me just checking. Because the Skin and Moans have been eyeing up the threat ranges, the way I saw it was, if Ossyan can get forward, his gun gives -2 defense and speed, so at least even if I don't kill the Skin and Moans, it's then sorted me out for he's not going to come in for me.
Yeah. Going back to what on earth I was doing with Skin and Moans, he only threats 10 anyway. So after Ossyan shot him, he threats 8, and he was doing nothing.
But sometimes it feels good just to shoot something up.
It makes it look like you know what you're doing. I'm staying out of threat ranges.
Against probably Legion, that would have been an awesome idea, but...
As it stands. So was it Ossyan's gun for that?
Ossyan's gun, as standard, does that,
nice too,
it used to drop a 3-inch AoE that did it on top of it, but now I think they decided that was a bit harsh.
Yeah, it's fair enough.
So he popped feet, and there's different guns just going forward now.
Yeah, and they're all absolutely wailing on the skin and bones at the bottom.
I think that was a heavy weapon team. Oh, this was the storm. The
Yes.
archers.
The 2 archers that were free.
Yeah. The other 2 moved forward to try and stab with the swords. They're a mighty power 8. You know, I thought even if they could just knock one of them down, it would free up that heavy team.
Yeah.
But it turns out that just doesn't work when it comes to swords. So they reposition out the way for the spotter to go in and fluff horribly when it comes to trying to then damage it.
Yeah, he didn't do very well, did he?
I think he scored equal, but it's just not good enough. Defend armor 14s when you only got a power 8 sword, it's actually harder to.
Yeah. I hadn't realised actually the run in was actually pretty good.
Yeah. Oh.
You know,
I didn't see it coming. I was like, oh, well, that's tied up that bottom little bit of flank.
Yeah, I mean, I still lost the skin and bones to the 2 archers I couldn't get to, but
Yeah. Ossyan's feet plus brutal damage on their shots just
yeah,
put some real hurt in.
pretty solid.
At this point, I'm trying to work out what can be done. That's the Banshee moving forward. Took 2 free strikes. Took a couple of points of damage.
Yeah, like 1 or 2.
I think he dropped him a fair bit down, but it just everywhere that just wouldn't take a system.
Yeah. Oh, it was that guy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The entire damage grid was knackered apart from
Each
all the
system.
systems.
Yeah. Everything had about 2 damage off each system, and thankfully he doesn't have a shield generator, so that couldn't be crippled. That again, he's firing his little slam cannon, and it just because it knocks them down, it then stops the tough.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and with the extra power from the damage, I mean, it's still armor 17, but
yeah,
when it's boostable gunshot, or the first one was boostable gunshot,
yeah.
wasn't it?
The other one was the collateral damage. So this is just the Hellmouth on a jack, and this is the point where I realised that because I'd killed that skin and bones, the caster just wasn't able to transfer anything.
Yeah.
So I boosted the damage because why wouldn't you? And I rolled 2 6s and a 5, or was it 2 5s and a 6? I can't tell.
2 5s and a 6.
Yeah, something like 15, 14
Yeah, I think he was
damage.
left to 3 or 4 boxes, which was just scary.
I was just at that point I was like, holy hell, I can actually
And just blow his head off.
just get in there. At first I didn't realise, but the hollow men have an inch melee reach, so it limited how many guys could get into just the 3. That forest just being an absolute pain to try and shoot round. I'm so excited to try and shoot the caster, I completely forget to move the rest of the unit, and when they then fluff the shot and roll in a 3, it's...
Yeah, because he's still defense 15, he can't be knocked down, because he's a god, or at least he thinks he is.
he tries to be.
He tries his best. So yeah, instead the rest of the unit just wail on the the piggybacks.
Piggybacks and
Reducing
anything...
to
and
one man
that-
in the shield wall.
Yeah, and anything else that physically isn't tied into something. At this point, you can't see on this, but I'm starting to run a bit low on time because of some thinking stuff I have to do. So I've just physically just been the Manticore, instead of throwing down a wall, just blows a couple of dread rots away.
Yeah. So this was sort of my apparition moves. At this point, I've seen the time as well. I think I had about half an hour left, and you were down to about 15
Yeah, it's about
minutes.
28 minutes-ish, yeah.
So it was like, okay, my caster's nearly dead. So my plan for the caster was, I just needed to lose a Dreadrot or a Hollow Man or something in my control, and then I can put this Stealth Arcana down. And at that point, I thought he was fairly safe. So I'm sort of working out how best to do that and how best to make sure I'm sort of challenging zones, maybe keeping the scoring ticking over just as well to stop Dan just going, okay, do what you can, and me not having anything to do it. So this was the first part of it was to stop him scoring. So the Witchwood moves up, influenced the solo, who then went across and slapped one of the rifles. My Hollow Man, or the surviving Hollow Man from that unit, then charged the solo in the back and killed it, which was, having had it done to me many times, it's quite nice to do the influencey thing.
which is a big thing because, as Matt's saying, he's thinking of dropping the stealth, and the big thing for the Thanes is they can give a unit of riflemen the ability to see through stealth. So with that gone, all of a sudden I am actually myself. I've caught on to stealth could go up, but there's not much I can really do about that.
That's it. And the Skinamones at the top frenzied because
Just absolutely obliterated one of the...
Yeah, so he smashed one guy into lots of tiny little pieces, but then was sort of stood. I left the Fury on him because he only had 2. Bringing it back to me didn't really benefit me at all. And at least with 2 Fury on him, I can take some in next turn without having to cut myself, because obviously being at full health, you can't afford to cut yourself.
No.
So the rest of it's just everything going in. The P-back actually was quite impressive. I was surprised at the little P-back.
Yeah, he hit for at least... I think from whatever he was on, it was left on 8 damage and still no systems broken.
Yeah, that's it. And then one of the Hollow Men went in on Ossyan because, I don't know, I have this thing, when there's a caster there, I charge the caster.
Yep.
It was never going to do anything, but...
No, it tends to hit, but, worth a shot.
So yeah, this was me putting up
the Warlow flames again.
Flames with the little flames on it, just purely to stop them coming further forward than that. And then he just towed the zone and hoped that the Arcane would trigger. I think I measured to the couple of Hollow Men in the centre, so I knew that they were going to be in my control. So if any of them died, there's the Hollow Men at the top, which I knew probably had to die for the Riflemen to get out. So it was just felt fairly solid. And then at the bottom, the Dreadrots just kept chewing through because there was not much else they can do. I made sure I had a couple of guys towing the zone to stop that being scored, and then...
Yeah. It's... Defense 13 is one of those odd ones where it's usually 7s for a lot of people, so it's ends in a bit of a grind between them. At this point I'm panicking and I can get some shots in, but then there's that guy there, and it's generally...
Yeah, so that was me measuring my control.
Just to make sure that it will activate. At that point, it's just a case of I slap a pig.
Yeah. Slap a Hollow Man.
Yep, and at that point, they triggered.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't trigger it on the pig. Not that it would have made a difference, but... I did this a few times in the game. It's like, I'm not used to Arcana. I'm not used to saying to my opponent, whoa, stop a second. I'm doing that.
Yeah. At this point, I'm just doing a bit of damage, trying to finish off the the Dreadrots up there. I've completely ignoring the Skinamones now because there's just nothing I can do with it. Not with the time. At this point, I've only got about 4 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to physically throw stuff around.
Well, you were trying to trigger the assassination, weren't you?
Yeah, or at least I was trying to do as much damage as I physically could at this point. So next turn, even with my low time, I might be able to just throw in something, but I just couldn't. With transfers on, I was trying to look how to damage the big guy on top of that, and it was just a bit of a botch job. That Hollow Man decided to take a many command range shot to the face.
Yeah, he wasn't going to live, was he?
At this point, I think I was probably panicking a bit, only because I probably could have put 2 guys into the Hollow Man and then shot the rest into the tree. Oh no, because they were all stealthed.
They were all
That's
stealthed.
Why.
At this point, I was surprised he kept going. Certainly at the end of that last turn, the Dreadrots down here, he didn't have anything to gain, so I was surprised he did that. I'd have just gone, okay, doesn't matter.
What I was tempted with down there is, if I'd done well enough with them, I would have had that zone.
Yes.
And then I could have kept it ticking.
Yeah, I suppose so. Now I'm thinking, well, I've virtually thrown the Dreadrots away, so I just activated them because they're alive, let them do it. My thinking at the top was, I knew if I could get the Heretic in, he hits automatically with his weapon, so he was just going to chew his way through them, hopefully. Which would then maybe free up the Skinamones to go and do something special. I hadn't decided what, but something special. So yeah. Oh yeah, this was the tree, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So the tree tried to influence one of the guys and missed, and then just smacked your guy, but he's...
Yeah, I was surprised how hard the trees actually hit. The power 15 and with 2 attacks, and it was like, oh okay, that's actually hitting harder than I thought it was going to.
Not anticipating that.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the top, I think there's one Dreadrot remaining. He took one guy out. The Heretic went in, and I was hoping he'd take everything out. But I think he took 3, didn't he? And he couldn't get to the 4th.
He took everyone out, but I think your Skin and Moans was blocking the sight to the UA captain.
Yeah. That's it. So I didn't really have an I was looking at maybe try and charge and stuff, but then it was like, hold on a minute, I need to go around the captain and then take a free strike, and it's like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
You know, at this point, I think you had 2 minutes maybe on the clock.
About a minute 40, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, he's got bushwhack, so whack and kill the guy, stomp up to get in the way, and then, you know, essentially just go, there you go, what can you do?
Yeah.
You got a minute and a half to kill me, kind of thing.
Yeah. At this point, I just start rolling a couple of dice. The Jack had gone through a wall of fire. Fire went out. And at this point, I'm just trying to physically work what I can do. The best I could hope for was trying to kill that, get Ossyan up to shoot the caster to lower its defense, and then just wail on it and hope that physically you didn't have enough transfers and I could roll dice quick enough. At this point, the demon fired, I think the damage got transferred across, and
yeah,
that was it.
We sat on 4 transfers, and it was just like, yeah. And that was it. So, yeah.
It was a lot of infantry both our sides, and a lot of dice rolls coming from either way.
Yeah.
You had the bonus that you could run into me and then go roll some dice for me.
That was it. I think that was what it came down to. Unfortunately, my guys weren't doing anything, so they were just running straight in and keep moving. Whereas obviously you're rolling attacks, you're rolling Stonefall Archers have their blast
AoEs,
radius.
and then there was
What's this?
Shatter Storm, which was then more dice, and it was just so many damage rolls across the board, and it just eats into your time.
Yeah.
It's the first time using this list, so I was looking at different things and trying to go, what does everything do? But hopefully I'll be able to speed that up a bit more, and
with time
will become less of an issue at that point. Though 40 infantry running at me probably won't.
A big part of me thinks that PP have released Grymkin to change the meta. Just to bring it back to infantry, at least for the moment, because even in small games, just the sheer volume of infantry you can put on the table with Grymkin is immense, and I was clocking people out in small games, which just doesn't happen. So I think that might actually be a very feasible win condition for this list. Is just
swamp.
There you go. Yeah, there's 40 guys, kill them.
Well, between 20 toughing guys they're fairly cheap, about 12 points for the unit.
12 points for 10, yeah.
They're 12-14, so they can shrug off a hit. They've got Rise, so if they do shrug it off, they'll be getting back up. And generally, for 12 points, they're a really, really solid
option.
Solid option.
Oh yeah, part of me would actually potentially change the unit of piggybacks for a third unit, because I just really like them. I don't have any money, having just bought quite a lot of Grymkin.
Yeah.
But for the future, it's a maybe. Yeah. Anyway, I think we've. Sorry, I'm prattling. I'm aware of this. So, I think all that remains is to say, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it.
Like, comment, share, all that business that YouTube says.
All the Facebooky stuff, and
and we'll see you on the next
Catch you next time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.